What's going on, fight fans? It's your boy Ashley Knuckles with MandatoryDefense.com, where the ring sorts out the facts. That's the only thing that sorts out the facts in the sport of boxing. The two combatants getting in the ring and working out their differences with their fists. In this particular fight, we're talking about a certain statement made recently by Vassiliy Lomachenko. Vassiliy Lomachenko says he is the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet. Not too long ago, he would say that Terence Crawford is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. But he says those guys, meaning Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez, are number 2 and number 3 in the actual rankings, and he reigns supreme as the number 1 guy. Of course, a lot of guys are in their feelings based on that statement. They're saying, who this guy think he is, saying that he's the best when he already admitted that Terence Crawford is the best. And since then, Terence Crawford has not lost or done anything to knock himself out of the number 1 position. Okay? But it is what it is. Lomachenko, highly decorated amateur, Olympic pedigree. He had 2 gold medals, almost 400 fights, 1 defeat, which was avenged twice. 3 division world champion, and now he's continuing to fight the guys at lightweight the best that he can get in front of him. He's going through featherweight, super featherweight, and he's now the unified champion at the lightweight division. And as a fighter, you're not in this business to pull pipe for other guys. You're not in the sport to continue pointing at other guys saying that they're so much better. You got to start marketing yourself as the best, especially if you rank among them in this mythical pound-for-pound list. So me personally, I don't have a problem with him saying that he's the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet. They all fight, they all lace up the shoes, they all go out to the ring, and they all put it on underneath the lights to perform in front of the people and to keep working on their legacy. And so far, he's doing what he has to do to solidify his legacy. Even though he only has 14 fights, boxing is about what have you done and what have you done lately. And he continues to rack up victories. He continues to rack up world titles, championship belts. And if he continues upon this path, like on the path of undisputed at the lightweight division, it's going to be hard to keep this guy out of the top 3 of the pound-for-pound list. Now, on MandatoryDefense.com, Vassiliy Lomachenko is not the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet. He is in the top 5, but he does have the ability to keep climbing those rankings as Terence Crawford doesn't have any opponents to fight. Y'all know how the pound-for-pound rankings go. They fluctuate depending on what's going on in the sport of boxing. There was a time where Oscar De La Hoya was the top guy, and then Shane Mosley was the top guy, and then Roy Jones got knocked out and got put back as the top guy, and then Bernard Hopkins was the top guy, and then Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather was on the list the entire time, as well as those other guys. Floyd Mayweather would constantly say that he was the best fighter in the world. When Roy Jones was the top guy, Floyd Mayweather said he's the best fighter in the world. When Shane Mosley was pound for pound number 1, Floyd Mayweather said he's the best fighter on the planet. When Tito Trinidad was pound for pound at the top, Floyd Mayweather kept saying he was the best in the world. So I don't hold it against Vassiliy Lomachenko for thinking he's the top dog in the sport of boxing. But boxing is, again, like I said, what have you done and what have you done lately? If Vassiliy Lomachenko is to unify all the belts at 135 pounds, clean out the division, possibly start knocking off big names, maybe at 140 pounds, he can definitely make all his detractors go in the opposite direction. But as it stands, there were fights that he could have made while being with Top Rank, and for whatever reason, one reason or another, Bob Arum and his handlers did not get those fights done. He could have fought Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was still a part of Top Rank. Manny Pacquiao agreed to fight Lomachenko at a catchweight, to which the fight didn't happen. Lomachenko said he had nothing to gain by fighting Manny Pacquiao. There was another fight that could have been made for Lomachenko against Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia and him would meet and discuss the fight. saying that they would be glad to get in the ring with each other, but Top Rank was not in the business of doing business with Mikey Garcia because he did not want to be promoted by Top Rank. But he never froze himself out of the negotiations. He just wanted to be a free agent and move how he wanted to move as a businessman as well as a professional prize fighter. But he wanted to fight. Top Rank never extended a term sheet, never extended an offer. So, for instance, at the moment, it seems like the people that's trying to push Lomachenko and try to set the narrative of him being the best fighter in the world also we're doing the things necessary to keep him from being the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Fights like that would have definitely added shine to a star and would have definitely added credence to the theory that he is the best fighter on the planet. This is not a Lomachenko bashing video. At MandatoryDefense.com, your boy Ashley Knuckles stands on the fact that Lomachenko is a straight-up beast. We know what he can do in the ring. He got the fast hands. He got the big power. He fights in crazy freaking angles, and it seems like he never gets tired. When guys are getting their second win, it seems like he's stepping on the gas, making it to where they can't get the second win. Hitting them in their midsection, all around their abs, in their liver, on their side, in their ribs. Keeping them sucking for wind while he keeps the pressure on them and keeps the punch volume up. And he's been in there with guys like Jorge Linares, Jose Pedraza. I mean, I'm not really keen on the fact that they brought Rigondeaux up in weight, but Rigondeaux was a unified champion. Nicholas Walter was a pretty big guy. He wasn't out of the fight in that particular outing. He was probably down on the cards, but there was no reason for Nicholas Walter to quit fighting and to quit on his stool. And that made boxing fans not really want to see Nicholas Walters anymore, which is a shame because he was a very talented and strong fighter, champion fighter at that. So like I said before, man, I'm not in my feelings on the fact that he thinks he's the best in the world. I don't hate any fighter that think they're the best in the world, but I don't have to be in agreement with it. But them believing in themselves, thinking they're the best, there's nothing wrong with that. As a fighter, you have to have a certain amount of confidence in your abilities and what you can do in the ring. Like I said previously, you're not in the business of pulling pipe for another fighter. Terrence Crawford says he's the best fighter in the world. At MandatoryDefense.com, I think Canelo Alvarez is the best based on what he's done in the sport of boxing and what he's done lately in the sport of boxing. But even if Canelo continued to fight the Rocky Fieldings of the world, he will not be the best fighter on the planet as far as MandatoryDefense.com is concerned. But as of right now, it is what it is. We will see what happens moving forward as it pertains to these mythical pound-for-pound rankings, which really don't mean anything. But the fans like it, and the fighters do want the recognition. But as of right now, the list stands as it is. Slide by Mandatory Defense and see how we rank these guys and the explanation for each. As of right now, I have nothing more to give you guys in terms of this particular matter. Stay tuned to your boy Ashley Knuckles. Shout out to the whole LDBC. Hit that like button, and I'll get with y'all another time. It's your boy Ashley Knuckles, and I'm out this thing.
If you like the content that you heard in this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. Also, go by MandatoryDefense.com for the latest news and updates and views in the sport of boxing. Slide over there by Facebook.com/Come Out Fighting. Like the page. You can also catch up with your boy, Ashley Knuckles, at A Puncher's Chance on Twitter. If you want to donate for the cause, for the website, and for the channel, check the description box for the PayPal account at Ashley Knuckles Boxing. That's all I got for you fight fans. I appreciate y'all for stopping in. It's your boy Ashley Knuckles, and that's all I got for you. Peace.